You know, I could do
Absolute twaddle. Absolute rubbish.
When all that business,
Oh, don't talk shit, Carl.
Anyway, it's going to
Oh, Carl, you're talking so much shit again. You must know that's not true. There's no way. You're talking rubbish again.
No.
This is such shit. This is such...
What are you talking about?
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Right, calm down. We haven't got much time left.
Oh, God. What do you mean this is...
Forget it.
No, don't forget it. Carl, do not press that. Switch the record off. Switch the...
America for on the Enterprise. It was all about space, and there was one question, answer 3 right, and it was who was the first one into space. Yuri Gagarin, who was doing that. And then the third question was how much bigger than the moon is the sun? Is it twice as big or 4 times as big? And this one went 4 times as big. Went correct. It's not. It's hundreds of times bigger. I can't believe. Can someone look that up on the internet? And how many times bigger is the sun than the moon? It's not 4 times. It's huge. It's like beach ball to a pea type dimensions.
Which DJ was it? Do you remember on Virgin?
I can't remember, but it was the one on sort of about 11 o'clock.
I
wouldn't want to be him. Yeah, he's embarrassed himself, hasn't he? When we do quizzes, we never get anything wrong.
That's true enough.
During that track, I'm chilling out, I'm loving it, aren't I? Carl goes, do you know how baguettes came about?
Do you know how baguettes come about?
I went, go on, and Steve went, no, save it.
Wait a minute though, I'm thinking, Rick, people are going to be desperate to know the answer to that. Why don't we play some ads and some music and stuff?
It's like a cliffhanger.
Exactly. How did baguettes come about?
Whatever he says is going to be good, isn't
Stay
it?
tuned to XFM to find out.
Hives, hate to say I told you so, I love that sort of stuff. That and the Strokes. Well, so much better than this new metal rubbish, isn't it?
Definitely.
Now, most people think we talk rubbish on air.
Yep.
If they could hear the conversations
Off
that
air.
go on, I know, but someone just emailed in saying the sun is indeed about 400 times bigger than the moon. Thanks for that. That DJ must have looked it up and said 400 times. That can't be right. It's probably it's probably a printing error. 4 times.
Yeah.
Nothing can be 400 times bigger than the moon. Carl went, yeah, but the sun's only got 1 million years, isn't it? I went, what? He went, on that space program, it said that in 1 million years the sun will be destroyed, and he said, and then we're all shafted. Right? I laughed. Steve went, no, it's okay. By then we'll be on another planet.
No, I think that's true. We'll have colonised other planets.
Carl went, yeah, but there'll be no sun. Steve went, well, there's other suns, which is true. Carl went, well, I went, well, yeah, every star is a sun. Carl went, well, not really. Not really. Don't believe that, do you? And I went, no, it is. The sun is just a star. It's not even a particularly big star. Carl went, well, why didn't they say that instead of worrying me? Instead of worrying me.
In 1 million years' time,
Yeah.
I look at this Carl, he's been preserved, brought back to life, and is now the ruler of the world.
Just a head in a fish tank. And he speaks like this. I'm Pilkington.
The reason you became king of the universe, of course, is because of your fascinating French bread anecdote.
Oh yeah, come on
the
then. How did baguettes come about? If this is going to be someone cooked a loaf a bit wrong and said I can still make a sandwich out of it, I'm going to hit you.
No.
Go on then.
Right. Napoleon, when he was at war and that with Russia.
1812, yeah.
Yeah, all his soldiers were like, you know, not used to the cold weather and that. So they said, take some clothes in your bag with you because it's going to be
Chilly.
nippy out there. So they put all the clothes in the bag.
Sure.
Do what they were told.
Thought,
It's Napoleon, for Christ's sake.
No room for any food.
No,
You're joking.
So
Couldn't they make some sort of like sandwich?
no, it won't fit because of all the clothes. You have to take extra gear.
Sure.
So anyway, he said,
I can see where this is going. I'll be honest.
Is there a baguette-shaped gap left in their holdall?
They thought, let's make some bread that you can fit down your trouser leg.
What?
That's not true! No, it's not!
I read it in Euston train station. I was waiting to go back to Manchester.
Where did you read this?
Scrawled on the wall in graffiti.
Yeah.
Do you know the
Was it also meet me here for Cockfun at 12 o'clock?
The Upper Cross Sandwich Shop, Euston Station. It's on the wall.
What do you mean it's on the wall?
Do you know how it says, like, sail on at Dixon's, whatever?
Yeah.
Next to that, there was, like, a bit of information. Once you've read the stuff on Dixon's,
Baguette information.
there was a big thing about history of the baguette. I read it and I thought,
No, we got to make a sandwich we can spit down our trouser leg.
But how can you march and fight with a huge piece of bread down your train?
Although it would be intimidating. You see him coming, you go, sacre bleu, look at the size of them. They're big fellas. Well,
Blimey. I can't ever feel that could be a practical joke at your expense.
yeah.
Couldn't do that.
Well, the Earl of
Do you ever
Sandwich.
question anything you read? If it's printed up, is that
Yeah.
like fact for you then?
Well, it's not funny. I mean, if they were trying to be funny, it's like it's not, is it? So it's
Have
information.
you heard us? Things
But
sometimes want to be funny when they're not.
that's exactly what happened with the sandwich. The Earl of Sandwich wanted something he could fit down his pants, and it was those triangle cut sandwiches wrapped in cling film were perfect. You might be right. You might be right.
I am.
Because the Cornish pasty, so they could drop it down the mines, isn't it?
Is
They,
it?
yeah, they wrapped it up in a. Atheists, we don't believe in ghosts, anything like that, anything supernatural. We're followers of James Randi, a genius of our times. But Carl saw something that proved us wrong. I'd like Carl to tell you what this proof was, what he saw it on, and look at him. Go on then.
It was on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
I was watching. You see, the problem is I didn't get the full story, so you could pick holes out of it.
Sure.
But I was
Unlike your usual investigations into the supernatural,
Which are
it was called. Can I just tell you what the programme was called?
Mr. Exorcist.
Oh, brilliant.
So
Sounds like an academic work to me.
the bit that I caught, I just flicked it over, sort of seeing what's on the telly, and I thought, oh, Exorcist, I've seen it, but there's nothing else, and I watch it, and then I realised it wasn't the same thing.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, I'll have a bit of this. And there was an old woman and a daughter, and as far as I was aware, the bit I picked up on, they were saying, oh, you know, it's dreadful, and unless you've been through it, you know, you've had ghosts in your house and that, you really don't know what it's like.
Yeah, sure.
And the main thing that seemed to be getting them down was the fact that the budgie was getting stressed.
The budgie was getting stressed.
Because animals can sense the other side,
Oh,
can't
okay.
they?
Can they?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
And how was that manifesting itself? You don't know. What was the budgie doing?
I think it just wasn't happy.
Right. Did it explain that to people, or
No,
how
you
did it
know, I mean,
express that?
budgies are known for being chirpy, aren't they?
I see, and it
And
wasn't chirping.
You know, it normally swings on its little perch and that. And
Just depressed because it was
Right.
possessed.
It was just sat around in its pyjamas.
so
No, come on,
So
Steve.
the-
Come on, Steve. You're making this a mockery. So the budgie was depressed because he could sense the ghost.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah,
this
yeah,
this
yeah,
guy,
yeah.
this Mr. Exorcist came
Yeah.
round.
Was that his name?
Yeah,
Was he a priest or something?
yeah, he might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I picked
Did
up
he
on-
have like a black coat with a little white collar? That's usually the.
He had his coat on, so you couldn't tell.
No, I'm sure. Okay.
But so he came round and he sort of did his thing,
Yeah.
and then
And was
the
he
next
trying?
shot,
Was he trying to exorcise the budgie?
No,
the
the
ghost.
house.
Right.
The
I
house,
see. It
yeah.
wasn't that the budgie had a demon or
clearing the
anything.
house
No.
out.
Okay.
No, this
So-
wasn't a possession, was it? This was a straightforward. It wasn't a poltergeist or anything. It was just a.
Well, a haunted house.
Yeah, but
Sure.
that's the thing he was saying. He was saying you can have like your ghouls and that aren't that bad, that aren't going to cause you any
Yeah.
problems.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
obviously the budgie, they've got weak hearts and that, haven't they? and
Sure.
I
So
don't
he go on. So
so anyway, basically he sorted it out, did whatever he did, and the next shot you see is like the budgie making a noise and swinging
It's
the
happy
eyes
again.
over the moon again, and the old woman was like happy because she was
she couldn't
getting
believe her luck.
stressed.
Yeah.
And that's
Just the priest didn't come in and go, well, you should feed that bird. Give it a bit of millet. It was happy. He goes, right.
no,
See you
it's-
later. No. It was a. So
It's
it's-
I mean, budgies are. My mum's got a budgie, and they're fairly happy all the time, aren't they? So it's got to be something fairly odd.
Right.
You never see a budgie sitting down going, I feel like topping myself, to be honest.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Though?
No.
Do you know
no.
you can have like a moody dog? You can see a dog when it's unhappy if it's walking
Yeah.
down the street.
You can have a moody canary, can't you? And what they do is they often tell the police what you've been doing. They're known for that.
Mm.
Yeah.
So basically,
So that for you is proof that the supernatural exists. A bird in a cage got a little bit annoyed, wasn't chirping as much as it normally did. Who knows why? There could have been a little draft up its, and
Cloaca.
exactly.
That's
Anyway,
a medical term.
Anyway, a man
just-
came in and did whatever he did.
Yeah.
and used your phrase.
Mr. Exorcist, though, Steve.
Yeah.
This wasn't any bloke off the street. This was Mr. Exorcist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
For you, that's the proof that there's.
just because like if it was a person, you go, oh, they're playing up for the camera.
Yeah.
you know,
A budgie could possibly act like that, Steve.
Yeah, I see what you mean. You're saying a budgie would not be trying to. It wouldn't be trying to become famous.
No,
want to get
not
on the telly.
like Lassie.
No, sure.
It was
sure.
basically a show off.
Yeah, or
So-
Champion the Wonder Horse.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think
I've changed my tune, Rick. I don't know about you.
I have, and I think we should play a record.
I'd love to get Mr. Exorcist in. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Never dabble with things you don't understand,
Sorry.
like women. See what I did there?
He's turned that back on me. I've never had this sort of.
Steve was thinking he's not that ugly.
Ooh. Blimey, Rick, we were laughing at Carl. Can we focus on one person at a time, Rick, please? Let's destroy him first.
Oh God! Tell him what you said to me when that record was playing about the Jaffa Cakes. He bought some Jaffa Cakes, which was lovely. He went across the road and he handed out the Jaffa Cakes, and then I went, "Oh, thanks very much." And then what did you say?
I just remember learning at school. I'm not like making fun of the illness because it's not funny, but they cure cancer.
Jaffa Cakes cure cancer.
Not like fully.
Right. They just go some way to helping.
Yeah. Do you know? It'll sort of help. If you've got it, you can't say, right, get me a load of Jaffa Cakes.
Right.
But I think it sort of puts a bit of a stop to it if you haven't got it. Do you know what I mean? It's like having vitamin tablets.
Is this medically proven? Should we get Dr. Fox down here to confirm that?
I can't. I actually can't cope. You know, just play a record. Play a record.
Can I just, if anyone has ever survived cancer thanks to Jaffa Cakes, please call in.
No, but I didn't say
He
that.
said, and then he went, it's the orange thing in it. And then he tried to read it. He said, I wonder if it's, and he tried to read out this scientific name. Farmunch, got ya. XFM 104.9. Well, as we promised, some Feng Shui. What do you want to know? Ratio of windows. It's one of those little books that you see at the sort of like the front desk of like Waterstones or Dillon's or one of those. And it's just it's a little guide. It's should I say what it is? I'm allowed, aren't I? Lillian Tu's little book of Feng Shui, and obviously you can't go into it in depth, but it's some little, you know.
Just some little sort of nuggets, I suppose.
Yeah, ratio of windows. The ratio of windows to doors in your rooms should not exceed 3-to-1. Too many windows cause all your luck to seep away. Obviously. Hello. It is also better not to have windows on the wall opposite the door.
Is that the case in your place, Carl? Because you may need to brick that up when you get back later.
I always remember I used to work nights.
Yeah.
Right? And it was when my brother just sort of got kicked out of the army.
Yeah.
And my mum and dad went away on holiday, so he was staying with us.
He's got to write a book, this bloke. You have got to write a book, Carl. Go on.
I came back,
Yeah.
and there was women everywhere. There's women in every bed in the house. I thought, where am I going to sleep?
Had he set up a brothel? What?
So no, it's just a bit of a one.
That's
so-
impressive, though. A girl in every single bed. I mean,
He was mad. So I slept on the sofa downstairs, and I didn't sleep that well.
yeah,
But I slept on it before when it was facing a different way,
sure.
and I had a good sleep.
So for you, that's
So-
proved the worth of Feng Shui.
Yeah, I think there's something in it.
Did you honestly think there's something in it, though?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay, we'll just read a few of the others, Rick.
Okay, well, it's not big. I think most people know this one. Display the three-legged frog for luck. Look for a three-legged frog. You can buy one from any Chinese supermarket and place it in the vicinity of your front door, facing inwards as if it has just come into the house. Don't place the frog facing the door. Please.
Come on, people.
What
Think before you place your frog.
I mean, this really is. I mean, but
What's the last page? Because that will be the most important one. won't
do you
it?
reckon?
the last one, I
The wealth vase. Make a wealth vase and keep it hidden in your cupboard. It can be made of gold, crystal, or glass. Can I just say something? If you've got a vase made of gold, you're probably all right for money anyway.
Yeah, sure. But this is the wealth vase. How to make the wealth vase?
Fill it with semi-precious stones and with soil taken from a rich man's garden.
So just find the soil of a rich man. Take some soil from
This is like bury a piece of steak and the wart will go.
Yeah.
I have a tooth of frog. This is
the one there with the gods. Can you find that one?
Oh, where's that one? Yeah.
What do you make of Feng Shui, Carl? Is it something you believe in?
Well, like I said, I didn't sleep well on the sofa when it was.
So for you,
facing
that's
the other way.
proof
So
positive.
yeah, you've got to get it right, haven't you?
I'd like Carl to read this out.
Okay.
Yeah, do you mind? Read it out. Just read it out loud.
Which one?
Yeah, the gods are here. Right. Okay.
Just read that. That's such a good
Invite
bit.
the gods
Yeah.
of wealth into your home.
Yeah.
The Chinese have several gods of wealth,
Yeah.
which they display in their homes to attract what? Prosperity.
Prosperity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My personal favourite is TCS Chi Yi,
Yeah.
who sits on a tiger.
He sits on the top.
Wait.
It's pretty difficult to find this fella.
Yep.
If you could use Kang Kung or the 3-star gods, oh no,
Read him out.
Read out the names of the star gods.
FUK.
read it out. Just read
He's a
out.
god.
It's
He's
a
a
Chinese
god.
god. You're
He's a
allowed to
Chinese
say
god.
Chinese god for the radio.
No.
You are allowed to say
If you're allowed to
Chinese.
say it, you say it then.
Well, look. You're so immature.
Read the three of them out, Rick.
Okay. If he is difficult to find, you should use Quan Kung or the 3 star gods, Fuck, Luck, and Sao, all of whom bring wealth and prosperity.
Then what were the names of the gods again? Because if I'm making a note at home, Rick, I better...
It's a Chinese god.
Yeah, there's Quan Kun, or you can use Luk Sao.
You can't.
What? But it's a god. F-U-K. That's how it's
Yeah, I assume. I don't know if we're pronouncing it wrong. I really apologise.
Apologies if we're offending anyone who's of an Oriental persuasion. But that's Quan Kun or Luk Sao or Fuck. And any of those gods are available at a Chinese supermarket.
Near you.
Yeah. That's Feng Shui. It's an ancient art. You can't give me that look.
I mean, when you've been saying I've got a round head, I was a bit like, yeah, everyone has. Stop having a go.
Yeah.
And I saw this picture last week. I thought, God, he's right.
Can't we just pop it on the XOM website?
I'd rather not.
I'll go on. Just get
Steve,
someone.
have you seen that man in a jar without a brain?
Sorry, is that something? Is that a product you can buy? In like Sainsbury's?
Is it a dream you had yesterday?
Not in
And
a
you wondered if
jar.
you could. Can I? Yes, hello. Could you make my dream into reality, please? Oh, we can't actually, sir. In plastic would be good.
Sorry, what do you mean?
In the future, you'll be able to download your dreams and then just like act them out again, probably in the year 2000 or something.
Soothsayer.
No, there's some museum somewhere
Yeah.
that's got this little fella who was born without a brain, and he's in a jar, and it's just that he's got a really round head.
Right.
And when I saw this picture, I thought, God, it just reminded me of this little fella in a jar.
Oh, and what do you mean he's born without a brain?
He was born without a brain.
So it's a baby.
He's not a little fella.
Yeah, but it's weird.
Do you know the difference? Do you have conversations with like people in prams thinking that fella's little and he doesn't talk much?
Yeah.
You know, babies aren't like little people.
Well, maybe.
Well, they are little people, but I mean they're not very small adults. They're not like midgets.
They don't do a job of work, is what we're saying.
Yeah, you're very there. What do you mean?
I didn't read about it. I just saw the picture. And
This
it
is where
looked
you're
amazing.
going wrong, Carl. This is always your mistake. You see the picture, you don't read the little caption.
But what do you mean? How do you think-
guess at what you think the meaning
But
is?
how did you know he didn't have a brain?
He said something like the brainless man.
Yeah, but people say that about you. It doesn't mean you literally you haven't got a spinal cord.
I bet somebody's seen it and knows what I mean. It's a famous picture.
Right, call in 08700 800 1234. Once again, you win a prize if you can tell us what Carl is talking about. Just in general, it's an ongoing competition. We're trying to find some CDs to anyone who knows what Carl is talking about. Stereophonics, Vegas, 2 times. Well, we've had calls confirming that there was indeed a fetus or a stillborn child.
A pickle baby.
A pickle baby. No wonder it died. Born without a brain. But everyone has, you know, pointed out that it wasn't a little fella.
It certainly wasn't a little fella.
No.
But because it had been in the jar for a long time, I think it had aged a bit.
What are you basing that on?
You do carry on growing, yeah.
Your
Yeah.
ears and your nose.
Your ears and your nose. And your eyes don't grow, so,
Yeah.
you could probably, yeah.
I'll dig it out for you.
Yeah.
Imagine if like there was an experiment where they were raising a child just based on the information that we said on the radio. What kind of a person
It was like
would they
download,
be?
yeah. And it
What kind of
just,
information would they
and it
have?
took everything literally.
Exactly.
Who needs enemies? Good question, lads. Nobody. 6FM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais.
Oh, they should print a little book of those. They're great. Oh, how you can relate any song or artist to anything else.
Easy,
Joyful.
easy. Well, yeah. So me and Carl went out for a beer, and it was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, enjoy
We
yourself.
started
Yeah,
off,
it's good.
and you met my mate Robin, didn't you?
Yeah.
And some of the stories. Do you want to tell Steve some things about Robin that you
Robin,
learned?
do you know him well?
Yes.
Well, do you know about his worm problem as a kid?
Go on.
Right. He, what I can remember is he had worms as a kid. Not sure how you get him. He never answered me. He was getting a bit touchy about it.
Right.
But this is like the second time I met him. I think he was a bit annoyed that Ricky told me about his problem.
What now? Now straight away, you not being there, instinctively, what do you think went on with this story about worms?
My suspicion
Yeah.
is rather like when you told a group of people that Robin had once suckled milk from a cow's udder.
Yeah.
He told me that.
Yeah, did he mention that as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. My suspicion is that, like the cow story, the worm story is not true.
But
And
why
Robin-
would he get so sort of uppity about it.
Well,
Because it's not true.
imagine if that wasn't the first time he'd done it. Imagine if he did that every single time he was with somebody for the first time and Robin was just met them. He will tell that story to anyone.
But they do say there's no smoke without fire.
Oh, Robin! I also told him.
That's a fable.
I also told him that the way Robin cured these worms was because the doctor told his mother, right, to hold a piece of ham or cheese near Robin's anus so the worms would come out for the food, and he believed it.
I'll tell you why, though.
I said to Robin used to sit on Spam to try and get the worms out, and he believed it.
But Steve, right, do you remember that story about 3 or 4 years ago where there was some bloke in the army, he went away to somewhere, Vietnam or whatever, he was messing about in the woods,
Messing about in the woods?
Shouldn't he have been fighting?
whatever,
Yeah.
right, and he walked through some lake, and I think he'd cut his toe or something on something, and some worm of some sort crawled in the gash,
Yeah.
and it was in his body, and the doctor said, we've got to get this out of your body. So what they did was, they said, right, the thinnest part or something of your body that things can crawl through is on the top of your head. So they wrapped
Where
some
the skull is.
so they wrapped some bacon.
No, they didn't!
They did. That's
Oh,
the
right.
thing.
So
Everyone.
it's gone in by the toe. So what we'll do is, I'll tell you what, that worm's probably heading straight for the head. We'll put a bit of bacon on it. The thinnest part of the body is the skull. Of course it's not the thinnest part of the body. It's where your brain case is, isn't it? It's the skull.
There was a reason for it, and it was like they stuck some bacon on his head. And
As ever, the vital piece of information, i.e. the reason, Carl seems to have forgotten.
because the worm was in his body, and they said everyone likes to smell the bacon.
Including
even a
worms.
worm. Even a Vietnamese lake worm. They love
Remember
bacon.
last week when I said about the little fella with the bone with no brain, and you were proved wrong?
No. We were saying it wasn't a little fella. We were saying it was a stillborn child. It wasn't a little
You're
fella.
changing it now. You weren't having any of it last
Right,
week.
hang on a minute. I'm getting confused. There was a Vietnamese snake that went inside of a
No,
soldier.
where?
A little like maggot or some sort that you have to get out of your body because it causes problems.
Yes, and so in order to get it out of the
It runs
body,
amok.
they strapped bacon to his head.
That is great. This doctor.
And did that work?
I think so. They had a picture of him smiling.
Oh God! What, the worm or the bloke?
The bloke.
Oh dear.
Honestly, I hope someone knows the story.
Right.
It was about 3 years ago, I reckon.
Okay.
And yeah, it did work.
GI bacon.
So this is why when
And so what the worm burrowed out of his head to get the bacon.
get to the bacon.
Right. That's great.
So this is why when Robin was telling his story, I was a little bit disappointed if it wasn't true.
Right.
Because in a way,
You know Robin's never been to Vietnam.
No, but what do you really think that Robin, well, as Robin said at the time, Carl, why would I sit on ham then tell Ricky Gervais? It's a very good point.
because if you was a kid, you do daft things like that as a kid.
Right.
You know
It's
what I
the
mean?
telling Ricky Gervais, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you might call up,
Yeah.
but no, I keep myself to myself.
Yeah.
Then you don't get bogged down in the office politics and stuff.
Yeah. Is there a lot of office politics here?
I don't know. I don't get involved in it.
Oh yeah. Proved your point.
So when we're away and we're like out of action, other than Suzanne, who will you talk to of the day?
How will you get a sort of feedback from the world? How will you get sort of like input and?
I always, if ever I've got like a question on anything, the internet's sat there and I can just go online and find out.
The
what I need to
internet
know.
is good,
It's brilliant.
but it's not all verified.
What do you mean?
It's not all verified.
It's not all necessarily factually accurate.
Anyone can put things onto the internet. It's it's freaks and things that put on
Well, here's
things
one, right?
like
here's one that I read in the week. Right?
One.
About this woman.
Yeah.
She was a bit of a punk, and to get her hair done like she wanted it.
super glue.
Right? No. She got lard. Apparently, it's a popular thing. You might know. Put lard on your head,
Yeah.
and you put it in the oven. Now, apparently the heat that you get from the oven is different from the sort of heat you get from an hairdryer, right? And she had to do that to get the style that she wanted. But anyway, she comes into money or whatever, treats herself to a microwave, right?
Doesn't. It's not true.
Opens the
Carl.
door, jams the things, you know, like the little catch, so the microwave works. She jams it with a screwdriver or a knife or something.
Yeah.
Puts the microwave on, sticks her head in, boils a brain.
Don't be ridiculous.
Right? Well, why is that ridiculous?
Boils her brain.
She boiled a brain.
She boiled her brain.
And this is what's good about the internet. I went straight from that, and there was a subject about brains. And do you know that Russell Crowe, when he dies, is giving his brain to charity or something, some sort of some people who can do stuff with it.
She gave hers to Pot Noodle.
Vesta.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
boiling a
stuff.
skull.
Yeah.
That's not true.
It's not true, Carl.
It's the same as the woman who put her poodle in the microwave, isn't it? And all that.
Just urban myths.
They're urban myths.
But again, where does it start?
Someone made it up
Yeah.
for a laugh.
They're just too convenient urban myths. Everyone's you can tell an urban myth's not true because it's always this happened to a mate of mine, and when you say what happened then, they go, don't know, that was it. Was it? Was that it? Was it? Someone boiled a brain and that was it. There was no more story.
Well,
Were there
any dates? Locations? Times?
I think it was in Belgium.
There's that one that a bloke, right, was going to get a phone call at 4 o'clock to find out if his business was, you know, okay, right? And if he didn't get the phone call, he knew he was broke, destitute. So dead on 4 o'clock, the phone didn't ring, so he went up to the roof of his office and he jumped off to commit suicide. And as he was passing his window, the phone was ringing.
Oh no.
Carl, it didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Think it through.
Think it through. Who told that story? Who told that story? As he hit the pavement at 120 miles an hour.
He's the only person who could have known that series of incidents.
Also, why didn't he
he's
wait?
dead.
As his life's at stake, why didn't he wait till 5 past? I said, I'm gonna give it 5 minutes just in
Just in case the lines are busy.
Yeah. And what sort of bloke goes out? I'll call you at 4. Okay, if your business. Well, call me anyway. No. If I don't call exactly 4, then no, you have to commit suicide. Commit suicide. I would, because if I don't call at 4, that's the end of it. Well, call me anyway. No, that's not the way I work. Why can't you just call me and tell me the other way? Well, I'm telling you how I do it. If you're bust, I don't call. Can't you just call to verify in case something goes wrong? What if it's engaged? It won't be engaged. Just commit suicide at 4, please. It didn't happen, Carl. Have you the other one, right? A bloke, right? He's on a train station, and he's waiting for a cruise station, waiting for, and he shits himself. As you do. And so he goes, oh, my train's in 5 minutes, so he runs across to Millets and goes, quick, Levi's 36. The bloke just puts it in a bag, he runs onto the train, he goes into the toilet, takes his trousers and pants off.
He's soiled.
Yes, throws them out of the window, I won't be needing those again, cleans himself off, open the bags, it's a jacket!
Oh.
No, it didn't happen, Carl! At what point did he go into it and go, quick, Levi's 36, and the bloke went, sorry, Levi's 36, what, a pair? No, shall I wrap them? Them? It, shall I wrap? Just wrap, whatever it is. Do you want to look? No, I'm not looking when you're putting it in the bag, please. Right? Well, 36 my story is like, well, don't say anything.
I've told you 36 Levi's. And put it in a bag and charge me for it.
Yeah.
I don't want to discuss it further.
Yeah.
There was one.
Here we go.
There was one about a woman whose husband died, and she had him cremated.
Yeah.
And made like a little egg timer out of him.
Right.
And she said, I did that so it can still help around the kitchen.
Well, that might be true. That might be a joke.
That's quite sweet.
That might be
That
true.
was true story again. It was all.
No, not again, because the ones I just told weren't. Nor is the boiling the brains in a bag curry microwave.
Head story, true.
Yeah. They're too convenient.
Will you be buried or cremated?
What?
Will you be buried or cremated?
I don't know. By cremated. I imagine.
Like you, Steve?
I don't know, it's out of my hands.
Yeah, I haven't thought about
I've
it.
not thought it through, and
No, to
I
be
don't
honest.
care either way.
Have you heard the one about... Sorry.
I'm just worried that we're getting into a macabre world now of ashes, boiled heads. I think we should play some music, let people just calm down.
Levi's.
Just think about some of the urban myths they've maybe heard, assess them, maybe they are absolute bollocks.
Yeah.
And they can move on from it.
Well, it's just that the death thing, right?
Yeah.
There was an argument on there about, do you know that Twilight Zone or whatever it was, Tales of the Unexpected?
Oh, yeah.
Where the woman got buried alive.
Yeah.
They were saying how, like, years ago, they'd bury people thinking they're dead.
Yeah.
And they've recently, like, dug coffins up, and then the people who were in the coffin weren't dead. They might have just been, like, in some sort of deep sleep or whatever. And they've lifted the lid off.
Yeah.
And there's scratch marks on the thing.
Yeah.
And that's pretty scary. And
Makes you think. I mean, I hope they check these days. That's all. I'd like to play a beautiful song now by Cat Stevens. On the how did you enjoy Edinburgh, by the way, anyway? Because I saw you up there briefly with you and Nick Frost, your new mates, Nick Frost and Simon Pegg. You know, he prefers them to us now.
I know, I could tell that from just talking to him, really.
It was just, the way he was sort of looking at them, everything, he was just smiling at Nick Frost. It's his new best chum. You love Nick Frost, don't
Would you have preferred it, right, if I went to Edinburgh and had to sit with some people that I really didn't like? Would you have been happier for me?
No, do you know, but
so I had a great time with Simon and Nick, and they're nice people.
But he kept going to, oi, Nick, tell Ricky that story. And Nick and Simon, well, all it was, right, and they're ghost stories. He loves them because they believe in ghosts.
Oh.
It's not just
they're
that.
great blokes with great sense of humour, just because they believe in ghosts. You go and tell him that, he goes, how do you explain that? I was going, well, I wasn't there. What was that one you told me and it was completely wrong? About the...
It was, oh yeah, right, it's years ago.
Oh yeah.
Some
in olden days, when ghosts roamed the earth.
Once upon a time, you mean?
Yeah.
Some doctor or something who was into, like, the way bodies work. They got their head cut off. And
the doctor?
Yeah, he was doing a bit of an experiment.
And he cut his own head off?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was about, he said, when my head's in the basket, I'm going to blink my eyes.
Right.
Okay, sorry, hang on, let him finish.
And,
so the doctor has chopped his own head off, and he's told everyone, I'm going to blink my eyes to prove that
he's in the basket, and he goes like, right, I'm going to blink my eyes about, as many times as I can. So quick, count them. And they count, and he got to, like, 15 before he died.
Now this is how Carl told me that. Till Nick Frost explained that, Carl told, he said, right, well, a bloke, right, he had his head cut off, and when his head was in the basket, he went, count how many times I can blink. And I went, well, that's rubbish. He went, no. And Nick went, well, no, he actually said, when my head's in the basket. And Carl went, oh, all right. I said, Carl, do you know the subtle difference? Do you see the subtle difference?
I have to say, though, guys, I still don't really understand what went on there. You've both lost me.
The story is that a bloke who'd been found doing,
you mean that Carl just explained it and that was a clear version? Because I still don't know what you're talking about, Carl.
Well, this bloke had his head cut off at experiments against God. He was a doctor in the, in olden times.
Yeah.
And when they cut his head off...
Why did they cut his head off?
Because it was... he was crimes against... Exactly, he was executed, yeah. And, he said to his assistant, when my head's in the basket, I'm going to blink, count how many times I blink and write it down as an experiment, right? Carl told it to me, like his head was cut off and he went in the basket, and when his head was in the basket, he looked up and said, count how many times I blink. Yeah, I love that. I love the difference in that story.
Yeah.
Both rubbish, but, one's possible and one isn't.
You believe anything that you're told, except when we tell you the truth.
Right, here's one.
Christ.
Ghosts and that we got talking about.
Sure.
And Nick said, right, he said, you'll like this one. He said, my auntie was having loads of problems.
Why are you whispering? It's not illegal to talk about ghosts on the radio.
No, but
it's hearing this.
So the auntie's in the house and that, and furniture's moving about all the time.
Oh God.
And they were like, no,
Steve, he told me this one. This is such rubbish, mate.
No, come on, let's listen.
I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna sit back and enjoy it. I'm just gonna watch your face, Steve.
Right.
Sorry, so I missed the beginning there, Carl. There's an auntie in the house.
Basically, Nick's auntie.
Right.
In the house, things moving around all the time. It was just annoying every time she tidied up. It was like...
it was just annoying.
Making a mess.
It was one part annoying to two parts scary.
Yeah.
So... stuff was moving around all the time, and they said, right, rather than...
Right, we need an housekeeper.
Rather than having the house a mess, until we sort this out...
I've got the vicar coming round! Stop moving stuff around!
Oh, yeah, go on.
They said...
That shouldn't be in the pants drawer!
Let's put all the furniture in one room, right? So, just have one room that's a mess, and have all the others empty.
Because I love the poltergeist can't really... it can move wardrobes around, but it can't open the door to put it in another room.
Yeah.
Poltergeist going, oh, I'm just making this room messy. I wish someone would open the door so I could... Go on.
Yeah, but... So all this stuff's in this room.
So they
right?
moved all their furniture into
Everything,
one
they
room.
put like the drawers in there and everything, and it was really uncomfortable because they were all like on top of each
They
other.
sat in the room with all the stuff.
Yeah, they had to because that's where the three-piece suite was.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Right, all right.
Oh, God.
So they sat there, like, all crumpled up and that, but nothing can move because it's so tight. I think things were trying to move.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
everything
yeah.
was so tight. It's
They
just like,
foxed that poltergeist.
So anyway, one night they sat there, like, sort of a bit awkward watching the telly and that, and they hear some banging.
Yeah.
In the next room. So she goes, oh God, what's that?
Oh, he hadn't moved in, had he, the ghost?
So
to some of the empty rooms.
So there's this
He's
bang.
moved some friends and family in.
There's this banging about going on.
No,
so
listen to this,
she
yeah.
gets up, right?
Yeah.
And what it is, they had the baby in the next room because there wasn't much room for the cot.
Right, so they left the baby with the ghost.
So they go into the room where the baby is, and the banging.
Yeah.
Is like, do you know those plastic balls you get that you can chuck around the room and like they go mental?
Right.
The ones that you chuck once and they keep bouncing for ages.
Yeah.
That was bouncing around the room.
Wow, what, the
hitting
baby had thrown it?
Hitting all the walls, and the baby was there, stood in the cot, sort of laughing.
Right.
And looking at the ball, and wherever it looked, the ball went.
Yeah.
And